when I do this. Am I still live? Okay, we don't know what's going on, guys. So we're gonna do this vertical if you don't mind. I'm gonna plug the PRS into the Fender Hot Rod Deluxe George Benson model, and we're just gonna go with it because the message is more important than the gadgets. Always remember that. Um, Kind of disappointed in what YouTube's doing, man. But let's see if I could get the camera to flip over. Will it flip over? I don't know. Yeah, it will. Okay. I want to put this plugged in. So if this comes out vertical, that's whatever it does, it does. Oh boy. Okay. I do want to plug the guitar in and kind of show you guys the amount of sustain I get out of this guitar just through the clean amp. It's incredible, man. It is incredible. And then I'll fill you in on everything. And take it from there. So I hope everybody is doing well. Let me get this here. And I don't know if I could see the live stream right now, guys. You know. Okay. Okay, so let's get this on. Okay, yeah. The amp's loud, man. I'll tell you what, the amp is loud. Yeah. Let's go ahead. I think if I hit the channel select. Master volume. Yeah, that thing's loud, man. Like, really, I got the volumes on low, and it's already loud. Let's see if I can do that. Yeah, that's straight into the amp, just the overdrive. And again, I'm sorry about the glare. John Dawson, what's happened? Thank you, Honer. Thank you so much. Oh man, Dan, what is happening? So let me explain what happened, guys. And I'm sorry about this glare I got here. When I faced the screen facing me, so I could see the chat, I got a crack in my screensaver thing or screen protector, whatever. But the phone still works. Is that? Let me know if this is coming up this way or that way because I don't know what they're doing with YouTube anymore, and I'm kind of getting ready to go. um, so I want to thank everyone for your thoughts and prayers, and I really appreciate it so much. And I want to give a special thanks to a guy that was running the sound, and another guy that was a guest running the sound. His name is Brent from Brent's Music. Brent, if you're watching, if you see this, I thank you so much, brother. I at one point I totally misinterpreted you for lack of my ability to put words together. I misjudged you, and I am very deeply sorry for that. I was wrong. You're a great guy. You were there, man. When they were when the paramedics were taking me away, man, and your thoughts and prayers with me, man. I appreciate it so much, man. And I hope you get better from your cancer treatments and everything. It sounds like you are. Thank God for that. It's interesting. My wife said something to the effect. After I told her, I says, man, I feel like such an ass. I misjudged this guy so badly and was kind of rude to him. And I was wrong. I was 100% wrong. And my wife said something to the fact that, we could have 100 problems until we get sick, and then we have one problem, and then that's our health. And boy, she wasn't kidding with that one. So to give you guys a rundown on what happened was literally right after our live stream on Sunday at our gig, we got done. We were on the smaller stage that was set up right in front of the big stage. So right there at the main stage, and you got all these people watching and that. And right after that, I was kind of hurrying to pack the guitars, pack the pedal board cases, get all that so we could get our stuff off the stage, and then take it back to the parking garage. And we were on the 4th level of the parking garage, and just get out of everybody's way, for respect for the other musicians. Well, out of the blue, I mean, I was kind of feeling a little bit tired anyway, and we were out in the hot sun. I got a nice burn and everything. So, you're kind of sweaty and you're tired because naturally you're gonna be that. You're gonna feel that. And what happened was, I'm sitting backstage, and and I'm like, man, I don't think I feel too good. After that, after we got the gear back to the car, we would go to a restaurant called The Lodge downtown Fort Myers, and have a nice meal and all that, and enjoy ourselves. So what happened was, I walked back to where the sound guy was, and Brent was there. Hey Brent, how are you doing? Good seeing you, buddy. Hope you're feeling better than that. Yeah, how you feeling? Man, you can tell I was kind of breathing heavy. I said, man, I think I'm having an AFib attack. Oh. As he says, oh man, we'll sit down, get some water, and hope you're feeling better. I said, thank you. So I walked back to where the stage was. Now I'm sitting facing the main stage. I mean, the stage was literally about a good, maybe a foot and a half away from each other. So we were able to get back here. I'm actually a bit wider because Deb was able to get the cart back. So I'm sitting on the stage. My back is facing the audience and everything. And I'm just kind of, breathing heavy. And, kind of paramedic noticed I was holding my heart. There was an off-duty paramedic. He comes up to me. Hey, man, are you okay? You feeling all right? And I said, yeah, I think I'll be all right. I'm just a little wore out, and I don't know, man. I'm a paramedic, and if I had anything, I said, well, I had a little bit of an AFib thing. So, oh, okay. Another lady comes up, and she's also part of an EMT off duty. And I said, I think I can make it home. And right away, he starts asking me questions, my name and my date of birth, how old I am. He didn't say my date of birth. He asked me how old I was. I mistakenly said 41 when I'm really 61. And I'm drinking the water. I'm down in it. He said, do you feel dizzy? I said, no, I don't feel dizzy. I just feel worn out. I said, oh, man, I don't know. So he gets on his cell phone. He calls the on-duty paramedics. They come by. They're doing my vitals and all that. And he says, man, I don't know, man. I think we should take you in. And I was like, okay, let's. I agreed to it. I could have really gone home, maybe. I don't know. But I agreed to it. Told Deb. Deb's okay. Had other people like the sound guys watching our gear while they took me to where the ambulance was around the block on the other side. So I had to go ride with them in the ATV. And everyone's looking at me and I'm waving at them. They're like, oh man, get better, get better. And so I get to where the ambulance was, and then, meanwhile they're doing the vitals. And then they told Deb, because Deb got over where the ambulance was. They says, okay, we'll let you know if we have to take him to the hospital or not. Well, because I was kind of dehydrated, well, naturally your body, everything in your body is going to be going up and down. You're going to get jumpy readings when you're reading things, you know what I mean? So they said, well, better be safe than sorry. So we'll take you to the hospital, let your wife know. And they did. They took me over to the ER. And the nurse, male nurse there, real nice guy. I kept calling him doctor. Yeah, he told me, he says, man, I'll tell you what, you're not dizzy. That's a good thing. He said, but maybe it's a good thing you did this call, because worst case scenario, on your way back to the garage, bringing your gear back. I told him, I said, we still got to bring our gear back. I said, my wife's by herself with all the stuff, He said, well, if we would have taken it back, you had a strong possibility of having a stroke. Who knows, maybe a major one, maybe a minor one, don't know. So I said, you did the right thing. And when I was in the ER, naturally I'm still sweaty, I'm still worn out. And then you're kind of like, in that shock of what's going on, you know. Although I didn't feel my hands get numb, and I was not dizzy. So those are good signs right there. It was more of a dehydration, and it just happened to kick in the AFib. So they had me in there for a while, and they gave me these potassium pills, are like big horse pills. He was able to cut them up, and then I was able to down those, and then they put fluids in me, and they were doing all these tests. And then one of the nurses, she comes in asking me these questions, and now a couple hours have gone by at this point, and she says, you're not dizzy. That's a good sign, and you're not feeling your hands tingly or numb. That's a good sign. She said, but we want to just keep monitoring you because the thing is your heart rate keeps jumping up and down, like kind of up and down. I said, well, I only had like one bottle of water, and I'm still kind of worn out. And then she looked at my arms because I got like sunburn. She thought, oh, geez, when we put the IVs in there, did we put something in to make your arms turn red or something? I said, no, no, no. I said, I was out in the hot sun. I said, the problem was I did this performance straight through in the sun, no shade. I said, it's not just a performance. I says, we got to get there and set up. So we're out there quite a while. She goes, oh, yeah. She said, stuff like this could trigger the AFib or the readings of AFib. Because I think really what it was more dehydration, and it just triggered it at that moment. But it is good to be safe than sorry. But at the same time, you cannot overdiagnose somebody, and then all of a sudden, oh, he's got this, he's got that. Let's put him on all kind of stuff. You got to be careful. But they were good over there. They were real good. But I had to stay overnight. I put IVs, like 2 or 3 bags of the fluids they had to put me through, and they had the IV here, reading my heart rate, my blood pressure. Then they had to give me 1 shot in the stomach so to make sure that I wouldn't get a blood clot. And then quite a few hours after that, they had to give me another shot and the other side of the stomach. And I never had a shot in the stomach in my life, man. It was a small one, but that was a little bit freaky for me, man. But I was just laying there and I'm thinking, I gotta start listening to my body, man. Because again, I'm not 21, 31, or 41. I'm 61, which is not old. I'm very active, but I gotta just kind of pace myself. And I'm trying to read the mics. Yeah, I would have went home. Yeah, you know what, home. Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, I kind of wish I would have too, Homer, because I think if I would have home and just kind of relaxed. The only thing is, it's not like we got to push the carts, up the ramps 4 levels. We had to get in the elevator, but I was just really hot, and I think what also could have triggered it, I downed that water real fast, and it might have been like hitting my system like boom, shocking it. Um, But I mean, I don't have to be on blood thinners or anything like that. Thank God. I do have to follow with my doctor next Monday. I'm just gonna, tell him the situation because I don't want to be on any medication. I don't want that. I didn't even want to spend the night over the hospital. But the only advantage there is that they did all the tests right there. I didn't have to go back to a clinic, come back, go back to a clinic. Next week, 2 weeks, and 3 weeks, and that. They did the echo test. They did the CAT scan, which I thought was like MRI. They put you in this big circular tube inside there, and you got to take a little nitro pill under your tongue. And she told me, and last time I did this, they said you might get a headache, you might get dizzy, or you might feel a sensation of your body getting warm. My body getting warm was the only sensation I felt. And then you go in this tube, you hold your breath for about 10 seconds, and a voice comes over the speakers and say, okay, now you could breathe. So they want to make sure none of my arteries are clogged. Because at one point, another doctor came in and was telling me the worst case scenario would have to put a stent inside you. I'm like, man, you know, I'm just really worn out. See, one thing they did say, they all agreed to, even one of the nurses, that I wasn't dizzy. So when you're kind of worn out, and everybody's body is different, it's going to react different. When you're kind of worn out and you didn't get enough water, of course your body is going to react to this. And this kind of reaction to it, in my opinion, you could start getting false readings when you're being hooked up to all these machines. Well, yeah, the body's going through this reaction. You're going through this, what do you call it? Yeah, let's see. I'm sorry, guys, if I'm not trying to paint. Yeah, more water during the day. Absolutely. Yeah, Knucklehead, you're right, man. 100%, GB. Yeah, hey, GB, what's happening? Uh, yeah, treat yourself once in a while with the candy. Yeah, life is short. You got that right, brother. Boy, you can find out real fast how life could be short, man. Holy crap. So, um, I kept on explaining exactly what I was feeling with these doctors and nurses. Let's see, John Dawson. Yeah, everyone from the paramedics to the hospital staff. Yeah, we are very appreciative. Yeah, thank you so much. I was very appreciative too. They were really great people, man. I mean, they're great people. They got a tough jobs. Sometimes these people they got to deal with, man, it's like, holy cow. I don't know how they do it. But there was one young nurse. She even said, and actually she was a CNN, certified nurse assistant, and she said, I'm looking at these machines, I'm looking at the readings, and sometimes the blood pressure goes high, then it drops down. I said, well, yeah, for a while I didn't have anything. All I had that day was around 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning was a pancake that made. And then went over to the gig, started setting up, drinking some water, and then hit the stage and start playing. And you're in that go mode. You just go. And the funny thing is, let's see what we got here. Oh, Lisa, yeah, thank you so much. I'm glad too. Glad too that everything's all right. And actually, everything is all right because once they were getting ready to release me after all the tests, it took a while with the CT scan. Let's see, I did cardiac tests, echo tests, EKG tests, all right there, and then the echo test. This is the first time I can remember where they stuck it like on my throat, man. And I was like, whoa, dude, what are you doing? But then with the echo test, it monitors your heart, and you can hear your heart actually pumping. It sounds weird. It sounds very strange, man. Anyways, so they took a while to get me to get into the MRI, that big machine that they monitor you in, your body goes in, because they had a code blue. And I said, so that sounds serious. I said that to her. She goes, yeah, what it is either someone's having a heart attack or a stroke. And I said, oh, I'm like, don't tell me that. Because, I'm like, you just told the other nurse told me downstairs I was like this close to having a stroke, I'm like, well, anyways, I understood that that person was, top priority. I said, absolutely. But boy, I had to wait like about 5 or 6 hours just so I could get ready. All in between this time, I'm getting dehydrated because first then they said I couldn't get any water. I did have some in the beginning, and then there was a long duration time where I couldn't have any water because they had to stick me with more medicine to monitor me, and the water was gonna, counter react. But you see what happens when you're being dehydrated, and even though they're filling you with fluids, my body was having all these reactions, and as it's having these reactions, I know it's messing with their monitor screens. So then they're gonna look at that and say, "Oh man, what's going on? Your heart rate's here, your heart rate's there, your blood pressure's up, your blood pressure's down." And I said, "Not only am I thirsty, but I'm also now getting hungry." So finally, they came with some crackers and some juice and applesauce, and that was nice, and that kind of put me back into normal status there. But the one thing that they couldn't deny is that I, even though my heart rate was spiking, then it would come back down, and when it would come down, it would always come back to a normal pace, and it would stay at a normal pace for a while. And then I would tell them that, well, if I have something in me, I think everything's gonna kind of like equal out. Let's see. Sorry about this, guys. Yeah, welcome and everyone. Yeah, be sure to. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, if I cannot see, I think Deb's looking at the screen too. So I want to apologize. I do not want to ignore anyone. You guys are great. You guys are so important. Um, so as I'm going through all of this, I'm thinking, I'm feeling better. I'm feeling better, man. In fact, at one point I'm laying there, it's like, I don't know, 3:30 in the morning, and I just wanted to rip everything out of my arms and just walk back home, man, because I was like, I don't need to be here. But I understand I have to be signed out, because they don't want to be responsible if something happens. I get it. So after I was finally being able to go into that scanner, I call it MRI machine, when I had to put the nitroglycerin. It's a tiny little pill. I mean, man, if you put it in your palm of your hand, you can hardly see it, and you stick it in your mouth, under your tongue, and there you go. After I got out of there, I was told the results shouldn't be back too long. Let's see. I came out of that machine at 3:30, and I was given the okay to go home at 10 minutes to 6. So that was a nice duration of time. The waiting, again, waiting and waiting and waiting. And when I was given the okay to go home, I called Deb, and then she was getting ready to come and pick me up, and then the nurse came and for me to sign out and everything. And but I'll tell you what, guys, when it comes to your health, if you start feeling something, don't ignore your body, man. It's telling you something. Even if you think it's not, and that was what was happening. I was caught up in the moment, finishing up one of my last songs. I mean, the funny thing is, literally, I went from moments of excitement with throwing the guitar around, like, yeah, this is great, to now I'm tearing the gear down, and all of a sudden, my whole body, everything was like, oh man, I'm really feeling it. And it just, boom, really made me just, everything just drop. And then drinking that water down real quick. What I gotta start doing is taking breaks and then drinking more water. And that's really my fault. I'm not Superman. I shouldn't push myself. Yeah, Caitlin, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much, guys. Yeah, well, yeah, you guys are awesome. And yeah, yeah, I would have went home too. That's gonna be the next thing is watching everything and just you know pacing myself. And as you guys know, I do this to myself, so it's really my own fault with push, 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 go, go, go. You can't really constantly be doing that, because really nobody cares if you think about it. Uh, but it comes from so many years of doing these gigs, just straight through. And of course, when I was younger, I was a fanatic at practicing. It was no problem for me to do it all day. But again, the key is I was younger. I'm not younger. I got to really start paying attention, not babying it. Because sometimes you baby it, that goes too soft, and that weakens you even more. But just monitor what's going on. And so we were gonna play Friday. I don't think we're gonna play Friday, but we're supposed to play Monday, and hopefully we don't get rained out. But yeah, I just start taking breaks in between sets, and then who knows? Maybe I could get back and doing some more stuff, like more exciting, because now I'm gonna be taking these breaks. But I'm definitely gonna be monitoring myself. Uh, it's just something that you cannot. It's something you cannot push yourself too much. And of course, us guys, it's hard for us to say we can't when we're so used to we can, you know. Some people say it's a guy thing. Yeah, it is, you know. And especially for me, I was always, I guess, hyper, you know, hyperactive. And maybe that's what kept me also going so strong. Go, go, go. My mindset. And looking at myself, I think what I've done in the past, if I take a break that shows signs of weakness, maybe. See, a lot of us come from the generation that the better you do, the more chance you have to getting success, you know. And but then here's what happened with me and my mindset. When the success happens, you got to be ready for it because nothing is free. Let me tell you, if they're going to throw money at you, you're going to work for it. In some form or way, some way, you're going to be working for it. So in my mind, I figure I'll always be ready. Well, I'm only human too, you know, and I need to listen to my body because you know, not Superman. My name's not Clark Kent, and that was that was the thing that just kind of pushed me over the edge. So if anyone is out there that you're going through anything like this, and don't ignore your body. Don't ignore your body. What I would suggest is pace yourself. You know, when I've read them out, going back to eating, you know, at least an apple a day and a banana a day, and you know your vitamins and vegetables and plenty of water. Um, don't just, you know, when you're on the go, you just grab anything, right? To satisfy the hunger, you know, or the thirst. I'm really not a pop drinker, except if we're out. Now the picture I put up, or did I? I don't know if I did put the picture up yet. On the way back, we stopped at Portillo's, and Portillo's is a Chicago land hot dog. GB, I think you know about Portillo's. They got a Portillo's in Bradenton and in Brandon, all up toward the Orlando and Tampa area, but nothing down here in the Fort Myers. Hopefully they're going to come down here. But we had the Portillo's in the Chicagoland area and the Naperville, Aurora area. On Route 59, we'd go there and get our hot dog fix or our beef sandwich fix, you know. So, yeah, we stopped there and felt good. Tasted good, too, man. Came back. Oh, and on top of everything, I had a chest cold. So that day on Sunday, I took a couple of Dayquil. And I ate a few days, you know, prior to I was taking a couple of Dayquil to, you know, try to fight the cold. Because I also got a new, shorter route on my driving gig. And so when I take the Dayquil, I stay away from anything. And I've forgotten in one of my duffel bags, I have a little bottle of low-dose baby aspirins, chewables. I could have probably ripped it out. I didn't think about that until I'm not laying in the ER. Maybe it was in the ER, the latter part of the hours of ER. But definitely when I was upstairs in my hospital bed in the room. I'm like, crap, you know, I had in my duffel bag a little thing of the baby aspirins. I could have popped one right there. Let's see. Pickle juice is great for, oh yeah, electrolytes. Yeah, you know what? I never thought about that. GB, thank you, man. I got to start really doing some of this research so I could, you know, self-medicate myself and prevent all this stuff, you know. I think that'd be the best. That'd be the best, the self-medication. Or, yeah, diagnose yourself, you know. That'd be the absolute best, you know. So I'm not feeling like I got to be, you know, relying on stuff. Because I don't like medicine, man. I don't think anyone does. To me, I'm afraid what's the side effects and what is it going to do for me and to me long term. You know, that's always my thing. Because I want to stay in the game, man. I'm not ready to lay down. You know. But I mean, it was a good gig. I know the next band that was playing after me. I know they were probably talking about it because one of the guys in the band that was setting up, when I was just sitting there kind of holding my heart, he looked at me like, "Oh shit, you all right, man?" But he has to hurry up and set up for their gig. They're called Deb and the Dynamics. They got a three-piece horn section. And I was joking with the sound guy. I says, "That is my only dynamic, Deb, in my life, man. No disrespect to the other band, But everybody was real nice. They're real nice about it. But yeah, I would really monitor what yourself, whatever you guys start feeling, don't ignore what your body tells you, man. Don't, because it's telling you something for a reason. The problem is, as we age, we want to hang on to yesterday, you know? And part of hanging on to yesterday is how we conduct ourselves, even with our activities. We're not ready to say, I can't do that anymore. And this is why now I realize it. When I was younger, I didn't realize it. When I was younger, obviously you think we got the world by the balls, and then you find out, no, you don't. You find that out later. But one thing I have noticed as we age, we kind of get angry at ourselves when we can't do something. I know I do. And I got to get away from that anger. That's why you'll see older people when they get that way, they're not miserable at you or me. What they're miserable at is they can't do the things that they used to be able to do. And they don't. If you are a self-contained person and you're used to doing things and getting things done, you don't want to rely on other people. And that's what's a tough thing to do. You don't want to rely on other people, and you don't want to say, I can't do this anymore. Our minds are always young. Our body starts going little by little by little. It's in small little increments, and it takes a long time for some of us. I think the savings grace, because one of the nurses I was talking to, is they kept asking me, no alcohol. And I says, I never drank. I've never been drunk in my life. Never. And I have no intention to start drinking at this age, So, and I think that, and I never smoked cigarettes. Never smoked. So I think those two main things have been helping me through to get through all of this. Now, I know my grandmother back in the early 1990s had a stroke. She had a stroke, she lived for a while, and then eventually she passed. And there are certain things that are hereditary. But see, my grandmother also smoked and occasionally drank. And so my grandfather, I don't think he really smoked. Maybe a cigar once in a while, but, he'd have his beer and that. But they're from the generation of World War II, And my dad, once in a great while, smoked. Not a whole lot, not really a whole lot. But, he drank. But, see, I didn't. So, even though I have those genes, what I don't have is taking it even further. And I think what takes things further and accelerates the process of sickness is the alcohol and the smoking. And especially if you're doing anything excessive, Now, some people, they can handle it, and that's fine. Some people, they can't. Even if they think they can, they don't realize what it's doing down the road. And see, the thing is, we don't know until we get there. That's the problem. You start feeling these things like, oh man, what's going on? So I think it's one of those two things. Of course, the good Lord above says, not ready to take you back. You got some work down there, dude. Get busy. Oh, okay, I'll get busy. And which I thank him dearly for that, because I'm not ready to go. Let's see. I'm seeing comments pop up. Yeah. I'm so sorry, guys. I should get the magnifying glass. With the reading glasses, the magnifying glass. GB. Yeah, don't drink and drive because you might. That's it, brother. You might spill it. That's an old joke. I heard that joke years and years and years ago. This had been what, 1990 or something. For a while, short while, I was working in a pawn shop, and I got the job there because half the guitars had like 2 and 3 strings. I'm like, man, how you selling these in these conditions? No one's gonna buy it. Guy said, well, if you could put strings and get it going, maybe I'll give you a job. So I did, and he did. Excuse me. But when I'd be in the electronics section with a guy named Kenny, he was funny. People come in, they pawn their VCRs, and they always have to have a demonstration, a video. Does the thing work? Because if you're not going to pick this thing up, we got to turn around and sell it. So they had this movie called Death Row Game Show. And, one of the scenes in it, because we're not going to sit there and watch the whole movie, we just have to make sure it's working. One of the scenes was their radio station's playing in the car, and it's given to some goofy radio station. And the guy goes, okay, reminding everybody out there, don't drink and drive, you could spill it. That's pretty funny. So that's where that comes from. It's nothing really big and fancy, it's just something stupid. But yeah, I mean, getting back to all of this, it's just pacing yourself, and just making sure that you're healthy enough to keep going on. Yeah, put my drinks in an adult sippy cup. Yeah, I wonder if that's Deb. Yeah, I never could sip and not. Yeah. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah. Yeah, see, I use this sippy cup too, you know, because I have issues. And Deb found one in the cupboard. Now she's using a sippy cup. When we were over at the place, I forget the name of the place now. Caraba something. It's a beautiful hotel. Absolutely beautiful hotel. When we get these corporate gigs, and this particular gig is through these. I believe it's attorneys, and they have their meet. I guess every 2 years they do this, and they're putting us up the hotel for 2 days, which is nice. And it was 2 years ago. We were at the hotel. Actually, I think that was like not the Ramada. It was the Radisson in Bonita Springs or Estero. Beautiful, another beautiful location. So we were talking with the coordinator today, and it's gonna be such an easy setup. We got 2 locations right within walking distance, and if it rains outside, even though I'm underneath a canopy, so you got me set up in front of the other restaurant that's inside, and in the other restaurant, every location will be strategically located by an outlet and out of the way with people walking at. That's so important. That is so important. Because there's nothing worse than you're playing and someone hits the headstock. Oh, sorry, dude. Oh, I didn't mean to. Sorry about that, sir. They don't say, dude. Sorry, sir. I'm like, that's okay. And then, of course, I'm not going to poke somebody, Here's the thing with these type of gigs. I know, and I haven't seen him in a while. I wonder what happened with him. Bad Brad. He relocated from Nashville down here to, he's up close to the Tampa Bay area. Session guitar, really good guitars. When he was in Nashville, he wasn't really doing the country thing, although he would sit in and do a few here and there. But his stuff is real similar to what I do. He's into kind of like the fusion. He said he wouldn't mind trying to put an R&B band together, but he kind of ditched that idea, at least for a while, because he's helping raising a daughter, and his wife is out there working. His wife was very supportive. Thank God for that, because he was out there on the road. So, he's not like some small-time dude. He's got it going on. But, yeah, he was saying, I forgot what I was going to say now. No, but he done a couple of corporate gigs. And I remember he made a comment. He says, "Yeah, they're great gigs. You know, you get to do a certain style of music that you really do like." With me, it's a really a win-win because they like the Latin jazz fusion stuff I do, the classical flamenco guitar, and when I do the rock covers, I'm able to make it elegant. You know, so it's like just perfect fit. Plus, I could do my originals, and they're like, "Oh, I thought that was a song on the radio or something." Like, "Oh, that sounds good." You know what's really interesting is when we're playing like downtown Fort Myers. Like for instance, on just Sunday, I get some of these college age students, these kids, moving and grooving to my playing, and I'm doing like the Santana Al Di Meola type of lead playing over the stuff that's grooving, but they're liking this. And I've had so many times these young kids telling me, now not everyone's gonna like it, and that's okay. I don't take it personal. But so many times they're like saying, they're kind of looking at me. They're thinking, "Gee, is this hair just real blonde, or is he gray, or is he old, or is he young?" They can't figure it out. Until I start talking and I talk about, back in the '80s, and like, "Oh yeah, that's Grandpa playing." But they'll tell me, "You're the ones who do figure out that I'm older, much older. I'm sometimes older than their dads." They're they say to me, "But you don't act and play like you're old. Like I could identify with what you're doing." And I said, "Well, music is music. Music is universal." I said, I do the things I do because I can't sing. That's one reason. The other reason, even more than that first reason, that last reason I gave, is I like doing instrumental guitar music. I let the guitar sing for me. So for me, that's my outlet. That's my voice right there. But it's real interesting how they view this, and they're like, "Geez, that sounds good. I didn't know that you could do that with the guitar." They're like, I just thought, if you're a guitar player, you're strumming and you're singing, or you're playing in a rock band and it's loud and obnoxious. Some of these younger kids, they don't like that. Which, okay, I mean, it'd be interesting. It's not all of them. You got some of these young kids that, man, they love like the '80s metal and the whole metal scene, and you tell them about, Ozfest and Pantera and that. They love all that stuff. But what I'm seeing with today's youth is that they're so universal because, part of the social media thing, they're being exposed to everything. So now it's kind of like they're more willing to accept things than, back in the past. Things are more like separated. But yeah, for some of those kids that seen me go through what I had to go through, hopefully they're like, "Wow, maybe I should drink some water and take a break," which you got to. You really got to. um, but yeah, I'm back. I'm feeling better, much, much better. And I thank everyone for, again, your thoughts and your prayers. I mean, that means the world to me. Um, as you notice, if from when I first started this channel, I was doing much more of the shreddy thing, and I still love that. Don't get me wrong. But I started feeling these, just feeling, after a while, you just get worn out. And I started thinking, gee, I better pace myself. Plus, playing this kind of music is something that I really do enjoy. And by me going now for my next shows coming up, you'll see me start taking breaks. I think that'll give me a little bit of energy. See, in my mind, I think I take a break and, oh man, I'm gonna get tired. I don't want to go back up and play. But it's a mindset thing. So now with me taking a break, I think it might give me a little bit of that rest that's needed. Plus, talk with the people out there. I don't get a chance to do that. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much, man. Shred Wizard. Here's the thing. I could do things fast with the pick, and I guess kind of do things fast with my fingers too. Much better on the nylon string than a steel string. I know if I want to push it to the next level, I know the ways to do it because I've done it before. But I want to make sure it's going to fit. Plus, I don't want to push my whole body into that and then, okay, now what's going to happen, you know? So I figure I done my thing and I'll continue to do it and let other people enjoy doing their thing, you know, and also getting attention for their hard work in that. Because I think that's, you know, that's great. And it's a good balance, you know? When I arpeggiate, you know, with the people when they talk about the sweeping arpeggios, I could do, you know, with the 3 string. If I wanted to do it fast, I'm not really good at that. I would have to do a little more practice. But I like more of the articulation. Because sometimes I come up with these ideas and they just take me to another, you know, another place. When I was younger, you know, yeah, the technique and the speed, and man, you try to. There was a thing called friendly competition. Me and my guitar buddies. That also helped push us to get to these levels. But we would compete against each other, but in a very healthy way. Not to put each other down, but to try to help push the other person up. You know, you do something kind of fast. Let's see if I could do it. If I can't do it today, maybe next week I'll come back. Oh yeah, check it out, you know. But it was never meant to put each one down. And so that was where it was, I thought, the healthy, you know, competition. And then when I was watch other people and I figure, well, if I want to be, see, this is exactly how my mind would think. And it still thinks this way today. If I want to start to get to these levels and I want to expect getting the bigger gigs and making the more money, when these people are going to give me these bigger gigs and they're going to pay me more money, I got to deliver because, you know, they're taking their hard-earned dollar and invested on me. So I want to make sure that, you know, they get their money's worth. So, and of course, it was a much different time back in the 80s. You know, everybody, you know, it was game on, man. It really was game. That first generation of the shredding definitely was game on. The second, yeah, it just elevated to another level. But how can I say this? It was not as like it was the first time around. Because once that started getting popular, whoa, was there competition, man. But you also had to sound good, and what equaled out everything was the melodies. So once I started realizing, well, man, I could play real fast, but there's something missing. I need to go back to also doing the melodies to get that balance for me to like it, because I gotta play it. You know, not everyone's gonna like it, and again, that's okay. So that's why I started to monitor exactly where I could fit things against what rhythms, you know. So if a rhythm is a little bit slow, I could put a melody, but my speed burst, it has to be not just fast, but it's got to be accurate. And to me, it has to fit within a certain duration of time that the phrase is going to be there. Because it's like you're talking, you know. And since I don't sing, I guess what it was, you know, since I don't sing, I have to make that judgment call to make the guitar sing for me. And then I started going back to when I would listen to motion picture soundtrack. That music has to take you, because it's all instrumental. It has to take you to a place. So when I started playing down here and by the waterfront, I'm trying to go back to when me and my friends used to do these jam sessions at Addison Rocks downtown, you know, in Chicago. We'd sit there and we would play to the whole vibe of everything. So that's one thing I like about down here. You know, I'm on the waterfront, kind of like back when I was younger with my buddies, you know. So, especially when I'd be playing at Yucatan, I would try to play to that atmosphere and create this atmosphere so when people are sitting there and they're having their drink, and if their mind is drifting off, if they're looking out at the water, the music is kind of painting a soundscape for them as what they're looking at, and maybe it's taking them on a nice journey. You know, the thing is with the shredding thing, it's great for the show. It's man, and I love it, man. The excitement, oh man, I love it. But when people are eating, oh man, I feel like I gotta rush, you know, because the tempo is real fast, you know. Before I forget, let me go and explain to you what I said to the female doctor, and she understood where I was coming from. I asked her, I said, you know, I asked the doctors this because some of them, they seem like maybe they don't understand the statement I'm saying. The ones who are musicians, they do. But I think the girl, I don't think she's a musician or anything, but I think she understood what I was talking about. To play at these fast tempos in the way that I want to do it, where it's clear, takes a good amount of practice and your mindset. And when your mindset is thinking at these fast tempos, like if you get the metronome, da, 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 you know, you're thinking like this, but you're thinking right on that downbeat, man, right there. Accuracy, potency. Because if it's just like, oh, I'm just doing it and there's no emotion behind it, it's almost like, to me, it doesn't fit. It's just like trying to sneak something in that doesn't fit to show that, yeah, you got the technique. When you're doing it because you mean it, you're putting more emotion to it. When you put more emotion to it, you're putting more of your whole body into it. Your whole body tempo picks up. Everything picks up, you know. And when you're doing it for a long duration of time, because in your mind, my mind, got to be ready, because if I get that phone call, boom, I can do that gig, no problem. But we cannot be on 24/7. See, when people train for the Olympics, they do a lot of training, man. There's no doubt about that. I know because what Deb told me about her older sister, Donna. She was training for the Olympics as a skater for years. For years. It's intensive. But you also have time to, rest and practice. Now, I'm not, to rest from practice. Now, I'm not saying I didn't have that either. But my mindset would race because I always wanted to be ready. And that's my fault. So that's what pushes up. So as I'm explaining this to this doctor, I said, so I hear when people say, when you're upset, when you're feeling like everything's like, oh, you're getting ready to explode, calm down. They have all kind of programs to help you calm down. And they might play some meditation music, ambient music. And what is that? Slow tempos, man, to help bring you down. And that's what I needed. This is why I've been watching a lot of the art channels with the paintings and drawings and that. They'll play some beautiful music in the background. Plus, I used to do all this stuff, and getting back into the world of art, it's like, wow, man. I look at these people that do this stuff, they're just masters. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm doing these art gigs, selling some of my paintings and that, and I'm like, I'm nowhere near like these people, But, you go out there and try, But it's very therapeutic. So, going back to the shifting in the styles of music that when I first started the channel, that's one of the reasons why I needed to calm myself down. I needed this balance because, you can only push yourself for so long. It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. And if you watch a lot of the shredders from the 80s, and they're still playing, thank God. They're keeping everything alive, thank God. But you could tell that we're not in our 20s anymore, so we have to make these adjustments so that we can fit for where we're at now. And it's real sad when I see these guys really trying to push themselves, and I can tell they just can't do it. And it's not their fault. They're just getting older. I think one of the guys that really did it right, whether you like him, whether you don't like him, is Carlos Santana. Because his playing kind of remained the same very melodic, and he's probably one of the most recognizable guitarists that's out there. You know it's him. I'm not saying any of the other guys are not. Absolutely they are. But he's definitely recognizable. Yeah, and again, I'm sorry about this chance going up and down. And yeah, guys, thank you for coming and tuning in. I'm sorry if I mispronounce it, I really apologize. But yeah, you guys really matter. You guys are awesome. So I'm ready to close this live stream because I don't want to go all night and bore people. We'll probably do some more streaming in here. I want to figure out what's going on with. I hope YouTube could kind of make their adjustments. I know they're adding more programs, and that's really appreciative. I guess it's tough for them because everything's growing so fast. So many people are jumping on and trying to make adjustments here, adjustments there, and then with all other platforms, I mean, there's the competition. It's going to happen sooner or later. But I think if I had any suggestion, if YouTube would say, Dave, what do you think? We're going to ask you, the last guy, because you're way down on the totem pole here. We'll ask you. I think if there's a way that the people running YouTube, if they could kind of go back to the simplicity of when you went live, I think that's going to help them. And the reason why I'm saying this, you got this guy, Mr. Wonderful. Last time I heard about this. Okay, Kevin O'Leary. This was a couple of months ago. It was like went on the news, Fox News feed, I think it was. He was saying that he was thinking about buying TikTok, and if he does, whatever TikTok has got going on and whatever it needs to adjust, maybe he adjusts. But my point is to help, really take it to its next level, so everyone feels like they're going to be safe, for whatever reason. But my point is, it's going to give them that much more advantage. So the more of these platforms come out, it gives YouTube competition. And as we started our other YouTube channel. I think it was October 2006, and it was great, man. I felt embarrassed not understanding the technology on how to respond to comments. I'm not tech savvy. That's all. But I'll tell you what, it is a great outlet. But remember MySpace? We had a MySpace. I think we still have a MySpace account. Once Facebook came out, then here comes the competition. So if YouTube were to say, okay, everyone, just put in what you think, how we should, do this, how can we make YouTube better? I wouldn't put in something rude and stupid. I wouldn't do that. I would just say, just go back to the simplicity. If you gotta, watch things, I understand. I don't want, weird things going on. But if you go back to simplicity, I think it would help out. It would help out the platform. Because whenever you got to go through loopholes, people got busy lives, man. A lot of people are not desperate for fame. I'll tell you that. A lot of people. And if you're out there doing your thing, you're already getting a taste of it anyway. So whether you get it out in the live world or a combination of the social media, it's you're already getting a taste of that. So it's not a fame chasing thing. So it's more of an ease of operation. I think that would help out. So that would definitely help out. So I want to, before I sign off, this message is held for review. Okay. That goes back. Yeah, definitely. The MySpace. It was really cool. I mean, the whole thing. Like I said, when YouTube started, man, I didn't know anything about it. Some of my students were telling me about it. And I remember before you had any concert videos up, it was mostly people playing and sharing the things that they could do. I thought, man, this is great. I could be wrong. And that's okay. I'm not gonna cry over if I'm wrong. But in my opinion, I think YouTube, the idea of YouTube, might have come from, the shows that you got here, and I think they had the same show over in England. Like America's Funniest Videos. You take videos of yourself and you put them up so everyone can see, and they, that's cool. I think that was in part of the whole idea of the YouTube, because when it started, I mean, it opened up, and nobody was making money that I know of. I don't know if I'm making money or not. I really don't care. I'm making money with gigs and a driving gig, So, to me, it's just a great way to share things. And for those who want to, go down and make money off it, go for it, man. There's something for everybody, right? Let's see. Pooh Ninja, what's happening? Yeah, I'm not looking for. Yeah, but I did pick up some voice. Yeah, hey, that's interesting. Voice acting work from my horrible content on YouTube, and it's super fun. Absolutely. So then, Pooh Ninja, you might know. Let's see. I just shouldn't call it work because I'm not getting paid. Yeah. But you know what, Pooh Ninja? It's interesting you say voice acting work. There is a couple of channels I'll watch once in a while. Voiceover Angela and a VO's Journey, doing the voiceovers. Because I thought about doing stuff like that too. I just don't have a voice for it. But sometimes I can mimic things, goofy characters or whatever. But I think it's really, really interesting. That's an interesting world. And if anyone out there knows about this, back in the 70s, it started, I think, in 1974 and ran through 1982. For the longest time, it was hosted by E.G. Marshall. It was the CBS Radio Mystery Theater. Back in Chicago, I would listen to it. It would come on at 10:30 and run to 11:30. A lot of times I'd fall asleep during the radio program. I have a little tiny transistor radio. I would listen to it. Well, we found it on YouTube a couple years ago now. So every night I try to listen to the CBS Radio Mystery Theater. The one thing that I like about stuff like this, it's really a 45-minute show. It would run an hour because of commercials. But if you find it on YouTube, it'll usually, it's about 44 to 46 minutes because there's no commercials. But the one thing that's really cool about, like, maybe even writing stories and narrating those stories, if you're a musician and you got all this gear, you could create not only themes and music, to fit certain eerie themes or, whatever type of themes. But if you have stuff, the ability to do sound effects, you could add those in. Here's the thing that I miss, that I really, really wish it would go back to. The sales of CDs, and DVDs, but CDs. Because Pooh Ninja, what you could do, put something together, record it on a CD, and you can market it. Now, there are people that still will buy and listen to CDs. I think this is the only catch-22 with the whole YouTube, especially with the YouTube thing. Because once I started seeing the Robin Trower videos and the old Return to Forever and Al Di Meola and Santana and Yngwie and all that, I thought, wow, this is great. But it didn't take long for me to start to realize, whoa, wait a minute. The more that's being posted, that means no one's buying. And what kind of effect is it going to have in 5, 10, 15, 20 years? You know what I mean? And I'll never forget this. One of our good friends, Ken Hawk, who had Rock and Roll Revolution. He had a TV show on cable TV. Me and my friend, I was on his show and my friend T.D. Clark was on his show at separate times. It was a TV show out of Naperville, local access. And he'd come out to some of our shows, and that's what had him have me on his show. But we were out to lunch one time, and he made this comment, and I gotta think this had to have been about maybe 2000, 2009, 2010, somewhere around that time. And he said, you know, I wonder what's going to happen. Are we going to see a drop in CD sales as well as like DVDs because of social media? And is everything going to go like on SD card? You know, what's going to happen to everything? And I tell you what, it didn't take too long for us to start to see record stores going down. No one buys stereos anymore except for their car. I remember all the stereo stores we were able to go. That was standalone buildings, Pacific Stereos, and all these other places. So if you want to buy a stereo system, you'd go to these places. And the record stores, let's see, the Shadow Knows exactly. Yeah, honestly, I wanted to be a artist since I was little. Wow, that's really cool. Yeah, Poonans, that is really, really cool. I think, see here, I think with social media and YouTube, it's the catch 22. The really good thing with this is that if you want to be worldwide, just like we're doing, whoever wants to watch it, boom. And you can go around the world and, you could help inspire somebody or maybe not inspire somebody, but that opportunity is there. That's a great thing. And to put your talent out there, that's a great thing. It really has helped a lot of people, and a lot of people be able to show their talent. That 100% on board for that. But see, the downside is, does it knock out the record sales and CD sales, and I think what it really comes down to, you'll always have people that's going to buy stuff. Vinyl's back, and people are going to buy it. But you're always going to have a big portion of people, if they get it for free, and why should I pay for it? And it's interesting, Joe Bonamassa made that comment on one of his interviews. He made this comment that I think his last record was going to be his last full album. Because he made the comment, he says, we go into the studio, we still got to pay for it. And what's the point of going in the studio and making a full album only for people to download a song here or there and it gets put on the internet? I think for everyone getting paid, for doing the videos, I think that's a good thing, But see, I understand where YouTube could be at in a position where they're like, okay, now how do we determine who's doing what? Because it's just so many people have started to become content creators, and this has contributed to the decline of views that even bigger channels would start to notice, because now they lost part of a viewership due to the fact that now those people, they're also creative content creators. So now instead of watching, they're busy creating. So you see, it starts to do like this thing, it goes to the roller coaster ride. And that's to be expected. So, I guess what makes it tough for the people behind the scenes with social media and YouTube, how are they going to pay somebody when all of a sudden these rules change here? Now we got what's going on over here, and now we got new people, and now we need sponsors, and we need this, we need that. And I get it. I get it. It becomes a tough business, But yeah, I really think what maybe, and I know I'm just rambling on here just for a little bit. What could start to take place is this becomes a way of advertising what we do. So if we have all this material, maybe we release a little bit free, on YouTube, so people could see that this is what we do. However, if you want more, now we have our website. Now we sell, CDs. If you have a CD player, if you want to, like, for instance, with like the voiceover and creating a story, creating stories and things of that nature. Now you can physically buy the CD, and or download it, but you have to buy it. See, and then I think that could kind of like help everybody out here. Okay. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great idea. Like I said with the CBS Radio Mystery Theater, man, we love listening to that. Um, it takes me back to days of when stories were stories. Like when I was gonna try to do something live yesterday, but I still wasn't feeling too good. When they put all that stuff in me, I mean, I had to kind of flush it out of my system, man. It's like, wow. I know they were trying to help me, but like, wow, I gotta get fully, well. And I still had the cold, so everything's battling. So what I did for Christmas, we went to the FYE store. We bought a couple of DVDs, and I bought a couple of horror DVDs. One of them was 50 classic horror movies. And I mean, it goes back to the Bela Lugosi stuff, and there's Night of Living Dead, and Screams, all this stuff. A lot of it's in black and white. So last night, there was 3 movies I watched. 2 of them had Bela Lugosi. One of them had Boris Karloff. And they were more suspense than they were horror. And I thought, wow, man, what a great actor Bela Lugosi really was. I think one movie was called Black Dragons. And it's very interesting. Black Dragons was referring to a Japanese club that was during World War II, and it was taking place at one of the Japanese embassies by the White House. And it was very, very interesting. The second movie I watched, oh God, what was it called? Oh crap, how can I forget the name of it? It was Bela Lugosi. Oh, it's called The Invisible Ghost. And it's Bela Lugosi's wife supposedly died, but she really didn't. She was just kept at you have the mansion, and then you have like the servants' quarters. And she was in the servants' quarters, and Bela Lugosi didn't know what happened to his wife. She'd come back and kind of haunt him and make him do murder. And that ended where he eventually went to jail. Uh, so he's playing a bad guy, and he's still doing the eye thing like when he would do when he was Dracula, but he was this very, very, very talented actor. It was a much different roles. The one with Boris Karloff, the last one I watched, is called the Fatal Hour. But Boris Karloff played a retired Japanese detective, Mr. Wang, and it was real interesting to see him play this role, and such a good storyline. I'm like, man, I was intrigued. So there's something with a lot of these old classic shows and stories that sometimes the more you leave out, the more it draws you in. Now, before I close off, I just got to say this, guys, because this summer is going to be the 50th anniversary of Jaws, and I've been seeing on YouTube, and I knew this from some of the pictures. I remember going to downtown Chicago in 1975 when Jaws first came out. We had to stand in line, and and then again seeing at some of the local movie theaters as it was the popularity was declining, the movie is moving on. Anyways, you'd see the pictures they would have, and it would show especially one scene of the lifeguard being dragged. But in the movie, you don't really see that. When the lifeguard gets killed, you see the shark come and grab him, and then as he's screaming, you see the shark come out of the water and grab him down. You see his leg go down, but you don't see him being dragged like in the picture had him being dragged. Well, apparently, that was a scene that was a little bit too gross at the time. So I guess before they release the movies, they have a showing, a special showing. So that scene was deemed too gross. Another scene deemed too gross was when the little boy got killed on the air mattress. The original trailer, I guess you want to call it, that they showed in the movie theater, special showing, was you actually saw that not only you saw the shark come out and grab the kid, you heard the teeth cutting down on him. You heard his bones being crushed and him screaming and blood squirting all over. at that time, they're like, oh man, you guys can't show this part, man. This is too much. And then I think Steven Spielberg said, you know what? We got these two scenes that are overly gross, and the rest are not as bad. Plus, the guys had an idea to put the mechanical shark in the salt water. When they first built the shark and were testing it, they were testing it in fresh water. And originally, that movie was supposed to be, all those scenes were supposed to be done in fresh water. But they wanted to make it more authentic. Not realizing the salt water was messing with the gears, so that's why half the time the shark wasn't working. And then some of the rubber skin was coming off, like, oh crap, and they were getting like a little bit. It got to the point where Steven Spielberg, he hated the thing, you know. He's like, come on, man, spending all this money. I guess Universal Studios are getting pissed off. You know, what's taking these guys so long? What's going on with this movie and this, that, and the other? So it forced that movie to be kind of hurry up and rushed. So some of those scenes where you don't see the shark is the most impactful, you know. I just wanted to throw that in there because that's still a great movie, man. You know, when I was a kid, I was like, wow. We don't have sharks in Chicago, but I tell you what, to go in Lake Michigan after seeing that, like, I don't know if I want to go there. But I'll tell you what's down here, we do have them. You know, a little bit further out, you get the great whites. They come down through the Gulf. Am I going in there? I don't know, man. The problem we have, too, is I've seen more and more videos of people going out on their boats to get the really cool shots to entice the shark to come up by the camera. They get all these cool pictures and videos and that. That's great. But they have to put the chum in there because they have to bait the sharks. Because they're not just going to come up, you know. The only time they come is they're curious, come up to you, is if they're curious and or hungry. So otherwise, you know, chance of you seeing them can be slim to none. But the more that people do this, the more they're getting drawn in. I got a feeling, actually, I thought I was seeing a video, the guy was saying, then they start following the boats because now they're seen as a food source. So the boat, what does the boat come? It comes out of the, you know, a certain area, you know, it comes out of a little port and that goes out, does this thing, goes right back to the port. So of course the sharks are swimming around, and of course they live in the water, so they're going to be swimming around and checking out that whole area, and that's kind of contributing to more. We have the shark attacks because people are, they want to do these really cool videos, you know, there's consequences, man. But yeah, Jaws is great, man. But we got the real ones down here, man. And actually, that movie was based off a true story. Happened in the early 1900s up in that area, up in the New York area. But it was a bull shark. And bull sharks, I guess they're distant cousins to the great whites. But the bull sharks, now they could go in fresh water for a little while. But they're aggressive, man. They're aggressive. They'll attack you only because they know they can. So it's like, oh crap, you know. But I just thought that was interesting, guys. I thought that was interesting. But listen, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up, and I really appreciate, you know, all your support, man. And you guys are great. You guys are great, and you know, I'm gonna do my best to do things much better, and you know, support as many people as I can. You know, there was an absence for me from the YouTube. I needed to get that. You know, it really started from the first time I was diagnosed with this AFib thing. I really needed to say, man, I gotta like calm my nerves and that. And then getting back into the art was very therapeutic. So seeing all that, and it's kind of like, okay, let's go in this direction for a bit. Still playing, but you know, let's try to equal things out. But yeah, come back again, check out everyone's videos now, you know. But yeah, you guys have been such a blessing, and we love all you guys. You guys are the best, and we hope many years of success and good times for everybody, you know. And we don't know if we'll go live Friday. If not, you know, we'll keep you posted. Hopefully we don't get rained out on Monday, but the weather says, yeah, we might get rained out, and we're supposed to play outside on Monday. So, but we'll keep everyone posted. Yeah. And if not, maybe I'll do something in here in the studio. Do some maybe more playing and that. But again, I appreciate it, guys. You guys totally rock. And I want all of you to be safe and healthy. Until next time, I'll keep you posted. Rock on and God bless my friends. We love you all. Have a great evening. Take care now. We don't know how to end this. Oh, there it is.